And hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, the Absolutely Premier League show. I forgot the name of the show then, the Absolutely Premier League show. I've only been doing this for 3 years. It's easy to forget. But no, certainly not easy to forget tonight because we're all happy. There's happy people on the podcast tonight. There's wins to talk about, which is always exciting. I hope you're all having a fantastic week, enjoying the football. There is, of course, live scores tonight, as anybody in the chat will see. Do not fear. I won't read them all out, but Spenny Fan Chris has us covered with, I think, every fixture currently live across the globe if you're interested in the latest scores. But I hope you're all doing well, and I shall invite my team into the chat tonight. It's a very excited, happy team. There's a man next to me. It will become very apparent soon as to why he's extremely happy. And welcome back to the Premier League show. It's been a while, my friend.
It has, hasn't it? It has. Considering how well we've been doing, I think this is just my second appearance. I think so. I'm over the moon to be here. I'm over the moon to be talking about the Premier League. Who's fourth in the Premier League? The mighty Red and White.
This is it. Fourth. You're higher than fourth, are you not now?
I think we're fourth.
You're fourth?
I think, because Bournemouth won.
About third.
Yeah, Bournemouth overtook us and Spurs overtook us, didn't they?
They did indeed. That's very true. That's very true. But there we go. We'll have to move you both onto the Absolutely Champions League show the way it's going. It could be something else. But of course, someone else who is occupying the top four as well, back with us this week with another win down on the South Coast.
Still in
Heather,
second.
how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Living the dream. It's been another exciting weekend of Premier League football. This season seems, I don't know if it's just because it is more open or maybe it's because my team's doing a bit better as well. That always helps, but it seems a much more exciting season than last. Are you feeling the excitement?
Crazy. Definitely feeling excitement, and seeing the likes of Liverpool just floundering is kind of funny. So
I see it's not going well for them. It's definitely not going well for them. But I hope it's all going well for people in the chat as everybody's coming in. Good evening to our Graham. Welcome to Graham. Hope you're well. Even to Spenny Fan Chris, of course, who's been keeping us updated with the scores. We must, of course, say hello to Luke, who was here early to tell us about Sam Hoskins of Northampton Town, of course, which is always pinnacle to the latest updates on Sam Hoskins from the Premier League show. Good evening as well to Simon. Simon's joined us. And we have Dreety from Valley Parade, of course. She's there watching live football tonight, but has checked in the pod. God bless our Dreety. Rich is here as well. Evening to you. And it's just wonderful. So where can we start? Where could we start this weekend? Where shall we start? Well, look what happened at Stamford Bridge. So I suppose to start, Ant, did you ever imagine back in May when you were walking into Wembley for a playoff final that at the end of not even August, September, now October, 9 games, you're in the top 4 of the Premier League, having beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge?
Well, listen, we're guaranteed to be in the top 4 come November, because obviously November the 1st when everyone plays again. It's crazy, man. Honestly, you've said that as I walked into Wembley. As I walked out of Wembley, I still wouldn't have believed it. It's just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's I'm quite a glass half full kind of man. I try and be on the most. I try and be a little bit, on the happier side of life. Or at least I try, anyway. He says wearing a top, says anxiety replacement therapy on. But I do. I try, especially when it comes to something. I try and be, one of the more, I think things will go well. This, I would never have said after 9 games would have been fourth in the table. I would have took 14th, fourth bottom. I would have took anything. And you know what? I think what's happened is when the fixtures came out, and I think a lot of people have kind of looked at it and said, "Oh, well, we've had an easy start and all this palaver." It's like, we had a favourable start against some teams who we thought would be down there with us, but we had to put points on the board because we've got a really difficult December, and we've had to put points on the board, and we've done tremendously well. We're becoming a side who's very, very hard to beat. We've only lost 2 games all season, both of them in Lancashire, in Manchester United and Burnley, and we lost them both 2-0. So it's like if you're and obviously it's sort of it kickstarted Man United's good run, hasn't it? So I'm all right with that, and it's obviously Burnley are doing well. So yeah, I'm all right with that as well. So there we go. But no, I mean it's crazy. It's mad. It's so you know what it is, though, mate. It's just so I'm just so happy. Like the whole stadium. It's like there's 48,000 people getting there every week. There's we were selling out away tickets and all, and even seeing like the commentator on Saturday was like, all the noise you could hear was coming from the Sunderland fans. People are actually starting to stand up and take notice of us now, which is cool. Obviously, the game Saturday, I actually firmly believe that we deserved all 3 points. There's like the stats say they have 68% possession or something or other. But we kind of dominated the game without being in possession, if you know what I mean by that. The fact that Chelsea, part of the goal, which I think poor goalkeeping, to be honest. I think Robin Ross has had a great start, but I think he probably should be doing better there. But bar that, they haven't really had that much of a hope. Garnacho probably should score from a corner just after we scored. But in the second half, it felt like when are we going to get our winning goal? And it comes in stoppage time. We get a little bit fortunate. That probably could have been offside if VAR intervened, because obviously Gertrude is in the way of the defender and the goalkeeper. I don't think the goalkeeper saves it anyway, but it is what it is. Chelsea Talby, who's a young lad from Morocco who hasn't really played that many games for us. He started the season, but then has been on the bench, lately. But he's been on fire since he's been doing that. And really good holder player by Brian Broby, another one who hasn't played that much for us, and sends the stadium there, and we are section into absolute, delirium. Sent me into delirium at work. I nearly gave the poor girl sat next to us a heart attack. But it was brilliant. It was just outstanding. And we were second up until Sunday when, Bournemouth and Spurs overtook us, and fair play to them too, because they're both having really good seasons as well, especially Bournemouth. I'm sure we're getting into that later. But yeah, I mean, just absolutely over the moon. And, there is going to come a run where we do go like on 2 or 3 games without a win or anything like that. But I mean, I'm looking now 12 points ahead of the bottom 3. I think that's an insurmountable gap already now. So I'm thinking, how high can we finish now? Not getting my passport ready just yet. But
not thinking of European destinations going, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be a nice trip to Italy or Spain? Or
it would be nice, but I mean, you might finally see a Macam in Milan is what the Mags try and the Mags try and say it's a 5-point gap to them as well. It's like it's very like in the northeast at the minute. It's quite weird because Newcastle are kind of thinking about our results more than they are theirs. It's crazy, but I'm just out of the moon, mate. Like I say, it's just tremendous. And I'd said, obviously our goal this season is to beat the sides that are in around us, which we've done, and then the rest will take care of itself, and we'll surprise somebody. And then we've gone to Chelsea, and like I say, just done a number on them. Really, it really did that. And like I say, I thought it was a thoroughly deserved win. And I think people are standing up and taking notice of us now, which is tremendous. So brilliant stuff.
Stuff. It was a tremendous performance. So the chat is saying Simon's loving seeing Sunderland in the top 4. Graham's also enjoying Sunderland doing well. They're 4th on merit, absolutely. And as Chris said, it does make me laugh how people say Sunderland played no one. Premier League isn't an easy league, no. And if you played 9 games, you've played half the teams almost you're going to play.
And you look at them 9 games as well. And yeah, fair enough with West Brom, because West Brom I'm on the Football League show again, eh? West Ham and Wolves, who are down there and they are struggling. That's fair play. But you look at, like, we played Villa at home, drew 1-1 with 10 men. Villa have been outstanding since that game. Villa went and beat Man City, didn't it, the weekend? But Villa in Europe. Forest, I know they've been like bish-bashing around with the managers and stuff like that, but they're also a European side this season. Burnley, that's a disappointing defeat. Man United away, it is what it is, and it's kick-started Man United. But even like Chelsea there, who, like I say, a very, very good side. We've got Everton coming up on Monday night, and Everton's a good team, but Everton are down the bottom. You know what I mean?
Couple of bad results for them, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to that game. I think it'll be a really, really good, honest game of football. But like I say, we beat Brentford at home. Look what Brentford are doing now. Brentford just beat Liverpool the weekend. So it's one point out there. There's no easy games. It's a league full of 20 good sides. You know, it just so happens that we just because we never got City, Liverpool, Tottenham our first 3 games of the season doesn't mean that we haven't played anybody. So I think it's just bitterness. That whoever comes up and say that, well, you played anybody yet? Right, we have. So sodges.
This is it. Everyone loves to try and find something, right? But then they completely miss the fact that you've bedded in 15 new players this season.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tremendous amount, and you compare that to like Ipswich did similar last season, didn't they? Didn't manage to blend that whatsoever. So you've got to give Regis Lebris there's so much credit to bring those players in. I think I saw, was it Xhaka and Siddiqui? No one's covered more distance in the Premier League so far this season than those two.
Yeah. And this is a 33-year-old Granit Xhaka whose legs have apparently gone. And you know what? On Saturday, especially in the second half, he dominated that midfield. He was up against Moises Caicedo, who I think is a world-class footballer.
Yeah, he's top.
To be honest, he's a phenomenal footballer. And Xhaka did the number on him, and that just goes to show that. You mentioned the Ipswich stuff, and Ipswich tried to just buy every good player from the Championship, didn't they, last year? And it didn't quite work out. But they had a plan to, if we go down, we've got a good side to come back up again, which, they have turned a little bit of a corner this year, but it hasn't started brilliant for them. We've actually went out, bought players, because we feel that next season we're going to be in this Premier League. Thinking of going down is not an option. You know what I mean? So, we've signed some quality. I mean, Mukiele, the lad at right back with the long throws, unbelievable. Gertrude, who came in for his first game, absolutely unreal. Xhaka's been outstanding. But even something like, and again, this is another thing that's grinding, is everyone say, well, you bought a new side, right? Fair enough, we did. But there was still 5 players in that team on Saturday that were in the Championship team. So it's not as if we've just gone out and just said, oh, well done, off you go. Yes, we had to do it with the players who, players
you could
who
say it's exactly the same about Liverpool and Chelsea. They've bought so many new players as well, haven't they? And it's just not working the same for them as it is for you. So
Chelsea buy a new team every year, don't they? You know what I mean? But what we've done is we've kept our identity, which was what we needed to do this season. We kept our identity of, yes, we're going to soak up a lot of pressure, but you try to get past us. And then we've got players who are so quick on the counter-attack. And we don't need that many chances to score goals. The fact that we're getting 1 or 2 chances a game and we're taking them, which is class. And yes, we're getting the rub of the green. No goal last week and potentially an offside on Saturday. But I think when you're up there and you make your own luck, don't you? So I'm absolutely over the moon. It's weird, you know what I mean? It's weird being a Sunderland fan and nothing going wrong.
Waiting for the rug to be pulled. Like you said, you've got players in there like you had last season, like Isidor's step touch, fantastic. This is his first season in the Premier League, and he's taken to that. 4 goals at this stage as well is a fantastic return for him. As you said, like players like, as Simon said, and you said about Xhaka. I mean, I remember when you signed Xhaka, I think, and we all said in the group chat, that's bloody unbelievable. That's an incredible signing, considering 18 months prior to that he was winning the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen, and he's got Premier League experience, massive Premier League and international experience. How good has he been? Has he been the standout amongst everybody, or is it just is it his leadership qualities as well as his ability?
I think he has been phenomenal. I don't think we've had a standout player. I think that's kind of what makes us as good as I think that's why we've surprised a lot of people, because we haven't just relied on one player. It's been collectively, like from the back, Robin Roth, who's come in, who's only young and has done outstanding. The defence all of them have been amazing. But what he's brought onto the pitch is what we needed as well. It's that steel, that steel that there's someone who's been there, done that, wore the t-shirt and everything, that's flew away, all that stuff. But he's come in and he's immediately got what this club's all about, hard work, determination, grit. He's put in. I mean, he's got 3 assists, I think, already this season. He's also got 3 yellow cards, so that's part of it.
Half of the course for Granit Xhaka.
Exactly. He's a leader off the pitch as well as on, and you're seeing him when he's singing like "Wise Men Say" when we're winning and stuff, and I think he was celebrating before the goal even went in on Saturday, the winning goal. But he's just got it, and all of them have to be fair. They've immediately took the club in, and I think they've learned a lot about the club as well. I think Mookie Elliott said in an interview that because he was like on his knees at the end of the game and just taking it on. He said that these fans have been through so much in the last 8 years, and they give them this joy back. It actually surprised them how happy we were and everything like that. And I think, like I say, they've all just blended in really, really well. They've all took to the manager and all that. And what is very important as well, Sam, I know that a few of them are foreign as well, but the vast majority of them speak English. So we've still got that one language, you know what I mean? So the fact that they can all get on well with each other and everything like that, it's class. It's class. And he's been, like I say, just captain fantastic. Like, he's unbelievable. And he's still doing it. He's still doing it for Switzerland, who are a great side. He'll be at the World Cup next year, you know what I mean? And he can go for as long as he wants, really, because he obviously keeps himself very, very fit. And he's a hell of a player. But he's probably the best signing we've ever made. And that's possibly including Kevin Phillips in all that. He has been phenomenal.
He's been something else, and say it's not just record start, matching your best tally. I think from 99-2000 when you're up there, the 17 points you've had from 9 games. It's been an incredible start, and so just on its own to go and beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Okay, this is a Chelsea side that maybe have been a little bit kind of up and down, but still quality. As you said, that midfield, Caicedo in there, Fernandes, they're starting to click a little bit. They've got threats. They've got so much threats off the bench. Estevao and all these exciting players. It's such a lot. I mean, of the game itself, what did you make of Chelsea so much from this weekend? Do you think there's still a side still trying to work things out?
Especially without Cole Palmer, definitely. They've got a lot of injuries, and it was probably the right time to play them without Palmer, and Liam Delap's obviously just making his way back, isn't he? The fact that we're playing, I think the fact that, they didn't have like a recognised centre forward, did they really? I mean, Mark Gio was up front for them on Saturday. Mark Gio started the season at Sunderland. So, the fact that they were playing him and João Pedro, who started really well, and he seems to have gone off the boil. I think they're just missing key quality players. I mean, when you're missing Cole Palmer again, as I say, is a world-class footballer, isn't he? And when they're missing someone like that, who is there pretty much their like linchpin, isn't he? He's where all the play goes to him and stuff like that. I think, that's really what they're missing. But I think with Chelsea as well, it's when you normally go 1-0 up at Stamford Bridge, especially under the Mourinho days, you never lost, did you? That was it. Yeah, and I think it's just easier to play now. They're easier to break down. They have that vulnerability, especially from set pieces. We scored from a long throw. They've got that vulnerability about them. I think teams can cash in on, and I think it's just shown as well that there is some good sides this year who have caught up. You were looking at Tottenham under Thomas Frank. I think they've done well. Mentioned Bournemouth again. Obviously, they've had a phenomenal start of the season, and you're kind of thinking of Bournemouth going to be a surprise package this year, which is tremendous for them. United, as you said, I think everyone in the chat bar, Simon's over there, and United are doing better. So, and I am personally, I've got a lot of time for Man United and stuff, and it's just making for a more exciting start of the season, isn't it? It's not just the same teams who are up there. Yes, Arsenal are doing tremendously, but the fact that there is some surprise packages, and ourselves in Bournemouth and I think Brighton as well, who started okay. I think that makes it a bit more refreshing for the Premier League. But Chelsea they've just got to get some players back, get some players fit, get the system right, because you can't just rely on Estevao to get you out the mire every week, can't you? He's only a kid, so that's not going to happen. And I think they might just be missing that little bit of steel as well at the back, because we easily. I mean, the fact that Broby's goal, the fact he could hold the ball for 6 seconds and no one got anywhere near him, he just held it up, didn't he? Held up, found the right player. If that had been, your John Terrys of all that, he would never have had that opportunity. So they just need to find a little bit of steel, but they'll be all right. They'll finish. They'll finish high. Yeah,
and they kept their worst goalie as well. They had 3 really good goalies, and out of them, they've kept the worst one.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
he can't be relied
Petrovic.
on.
Petrovic has come to us. Kepa came to us last year and has gone on to Arsenal just to sit on the bench. And they've kept Sancho. And yeah, he's just doesn't seem to be that great.
Well, we were in for Petrovic as well as Bournemouth. I think he chose to go to Bournemouth, obviously. I think it was obviously closer to where he was living at the time. And obviously he thought Bournemouth were going to be more established than us, which is fair enough, because we've signed Rolfs, who's done tremendous as well. So I'm glad they're both doing well. But you're right. You know, out of the three of them, Sanchez is probably the worst three. And actually, there was a on this deal, something that Sunderland ran a few weeks ago, and we beat Rochdale 3-0. It was quite early on in the season, and Sanchez was in goal for Rochdale. So just to show.
Shows you. And the other thing, I suppose, with Chelsea as well, they've got so many defenders out. That centre back, they've been absolutely, as you said, like with Broby, maybe even with their first choice centre back pairing, they'll have a bit more solidarity. But they just, it's been a tough few weeks, I think, for Chelsea. They've been unpicked by a few teams. But we've got our wonderful Rebecca is in the chat. Rebecca is in its half-time at Aki. They're currently 1-0 up, of course, against Tranmere. And Graham on Rebecca Watch has seen Rebecca on the TV as the team's come out doing her official duties. So there you go. Celebrities on the telly tonight. You can watch with there. Simon says that his dad's a United fan, so it's a lot better at home when United are doing well. So Simon's dad, you're a top man. And Manchester United under 21s are 2-0 up away at Rochdale. I'm not getting involved. I'm not going against Shah in a competition. Not having it. But if it's at Rochdale though, so if she's there, at least we know she'll be enjoying a half-time snack of choice. She'll be more than happy, I'm sure, at this very moment in time with that. But
I think Aaron's there as well, isn't he? Aaron from the Football League chats in there. And he's an Oldham fan. So I don't know
has he gone to the wrong? He's gone to the wrong stadium.
I think he's got lost.
He's got lost. Could you imagine? Yeah, Man United Rochdale with an Oldham fan in there. Yeah, don't lynch him, please. Shah needs him for Thursday. But there we go. We would love to chat Sunderland or not, but we will have to go on to other games. And of course, I'm sure this is one, if I can find the correct one, that I'm sure Heather will want to talk about. Because as we mentioned slightly earlier, it's a fantastic result for Bournemouth again. Another home victory.
Well, I did tell you last week, Nottingham Forest do not beat us.
They don't do it, and they certainly don't beat you when everyone's having success with set pieces, and you've decided we're just not even going to put it into anybody in the box. Yeah. We'll score direct from corners.
He didn't even mean to do that.
No, I love the fact he tried to celebrate with the goal. So it's like, no, come on. We never went for that, did you? But go on, Heather, tell us about Bournemouth beating a Nottingham Forest 2-0.
Well, on Sunday morning, everybody I was talking to is quite worried because we were quite looking forward to like this Nottingham Forest that was going to try and play open football, revenge ball. And then obviously that all changed last week. And we were like, yeah, we're not really that great at beating Dyche teams. So we were a little bit worried. We thought it would be like quite a close match. But they were terrible. We were quite good, but they were actually terrible. They looked like championship team at best. And yeah. Tav took 2 corners and they were a bit rubbish, and then he did that one that was just mental. Like initially I didn't even go to celebrate it because I was like, surely that's not gone in, because like literally nobody else touched it, and then everybody else obviously jumped up and we celebrated.
What was the keeper doing, do you think, Heather? Do you think, because I mean, there was they were trying to sort of say, well, he's got nudged slightly, like what? It's just the regular hustle and bustle. He just got himself all wrong, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he tried to tip it over the bar, and I don't know if he helped it into the goal, but nobody said anything about it at the time. So, like the ref didn't go and look at the camera or anything. So.
It would have been a travesty if that had been disallowed. It would have been an absolute travesty. It's just shocking goalkeeping. Really.
Yeah. Shocking goalkeeping and a lucky wind that blew it into the goal or something. I don't know.
Was Storm Benjamin still down there on
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. A gusty assist for gusty wind for the assist.
And then Creepy's third goal in 2 games, which, you know, we thought he was just like a backup striker, but now I'm thinking Evan Nilsson's probably going to struggle to get back in the team because he's, you know, Evan Nilsson does a lot of like the hold-up play and stuff and tracking back, which Creepy doesn't do as much, but he did it more this time than the previous game. But Creepy's just got the striker instinct that he can just like get in there and score the goals, which is obviously what you want. So yeah, I don't know if he Antonio would try and play both of them or something, but
it was a good shot, wasn't it? So from distance, and he seems like that kind of young, exciting, energetic type of player. And it's a good thing, you know. It's probably what he really wants. He wants the two of them to be pushing each other, I would imagine, because you know, if you've got two players that are sort of bundling for it, then it's good. And then worst case is you've got someone that's brimming with confidence coming off the bench for 20 minutes as well, which might help in different games.
Yeah. And you know, he is only 19. One of our centre backs is only 18, and it looks like we found another wonder kid because he was absolutely immense as well. Yeah, just our recruitment team, I just can't get over them. They've been fantastic.
They do. I mean, it's getting to the point where I think other clubs probably will just scout your scouts and just they're just literally just hover around them. Where are they going this week? Oh, we better go there. Who's he looking at? And just watching them. I think because it is you're picking some absolute gems.
Half of them you haven't. Well, I hadn't heard of them. I don't really watch that much of like European football, so I definitely hadn't heard of. Well, we call him Milo because we can't pronounce his name. But
it just goes to show, though, as well that this is the way football needs to go, isn't it? You know, you sign them from, you know, pluck these wonder kids out or whatever from the far ends of Europe and stuff. But then you're developing them, and then you know it's the same what Brighton do. Bournemouth don't stand in players' way as if. No. You know, they want to go to, you know, high clubs. I mean, you look at Kirk's go to Liverpool. It's a great deal for Bournemouth, great deal for him. It's turned out to be a better deal for Bournemouth because he's struggling like hell at Liverpool. But
and Chufe's an upgrade, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately for us, but
it's the way football's got to be, I think. And I think that's why you're seeing Bournemouth doing so well, because they've got a fantastic manager. But they're at a point now where they've just got the right blend of, you know, youth experience and everything like that. Plus, got Semenyo, who's been outstanding, but even he's gone off the boil. And the last 3 or 4 games, he hasn't scored. Certainly since I've put him in my fantasy team. So
you've not bought him, have you?
Yeah, I'm tempted to take him out just so he scores again for you. But I mean, this is a lot. I mean, Semenyo was on loan at Sunderland when we were in our second League One season. Now, if you told me that in 6 years' time he'd be one of the best players in the league, no chance. But I'm chuffed for you as well. Like I say, it's just I know we're a happy podcast tonight, but
he literally got rejected by several clubs, Crystal Palace, and he gave up football for a couple of years when he was 15, and then his dad met somebody, and he ended up playing for a team, and that the manager of their team ended up going to Bristol City and took him with them, and then that's how he sort of got back into proper football as such.
It's a good story, isn't it?
It's a great story. I think we've said it before, and we had it as well. Like when he was at Bristol City, the stats, he wasn't pulling trees up. No. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't an obvious signing that Bournemouth.
Well, in her game
was one
too,
that went under the radar, didn't it?
Yeah, in her game too, we've got 2 or 3 Bristol City girls, and they were more sad about losing Alex Scott than they were about losing Semenyo. And Scott is now actually starting to pick up form and do really well. But the last couple of years, he's just been plagued by injury and stuff, and we haven't really seen the best of him. So we were like, what were they talking about? Semenyo is incredible. So yeah, it's just one of those weird, lucky things, really.
Do you know what else is nice about it? It's kind of like a bit broader as well, though. That sides taking chances on managers from I know it's like obviously from Europe and everything like that, but instead of going after a dinosaur like like your Steve Bruce's or Pardew's or your Allardyce's or whatever like that, and I love some Allardyce a bit, but the fact that you've seen that in Bournemouth and Areola, you've seen obviously Brighton in De Zerbi and the lad they've got now who's doing a cracking job as well. Sunderland in Register Briss, who no one knew who he was last year. Oliver Glasner at Palace, who's doing a tremendous job. They're kind of like, it's kind of a new thing in football now, where an unknown manager or something's coming and just taking it like a duck out of water. I love it, honestly, I do. It's just such a nice change than just having, we're in trouble, we're just going to go and get who's been at 5 different Premier League clubs. We've
already tried that, hadn't we, with Gary O'Neill? So
yeah, exactly. And you've got to think as well, there will become a point where he does go to a bigger club. But you look at it, at the minute there's only 2 better clubs than Bournemouth in the league at the minute, you know what I mean? In fact, there's only one because you're second, yeah. So, but obviously, teams with big infrastructures and this, that, and the other, but then you'll get a lovely payoff for him. And then you look at now a young, hungry manager who looks at, look what he's done at Bournemouth, look what Bournemouth have done for him. And they're going to come in and, so it's automatic. It's made Bournemouth like such a big, it's made them like a big club now in the Premier League.
I personally don't think he'll go to another Premier League club. I think if he does go somewhere else, he'll go back to Spain and go to Bilbao. Is it how you pronounce it?
Club,
or somewhere like that. I think he would take a bigger job, but it would be a Spanish club, not another English club.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with him undoubtedly on sort of the top of their shortlist, I would imagine. I mean, David here wants him at Liverpool. He wants his, he only won the title with your manager last season. It's all downhill from here now. But I can understand why, and you say he's just done an exceptional job here, Earl, and has answered that kind of list of people coming across from Europe and bringing new things to the league, different ways of playing, different ideas, and it evolves the game, and we've seen it throughout the Premier League for years that managers come in, they introduce something new, and then everyone goes back to the Tony Pulis tactic of lobbing the ball in long from the side. It's how football evolves. It's just different ways. It's fun to bring.
Isn't it much more exciting though? Seeing long throws are back.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Rather than the tippy tappy at the back, rather than just we're going to lose it from the back. You know what I mean? I just love it. I love the Premier League this season.
Did you see that stat about set pieces? That if Arsenal hadn't scored as many goals as they have from set pieces, they'd be 17th.
Really?
It's such a key. It's always been a key fashion, the set piecing, because it's been in a tight game. It's the difference. It can be a moment. It can be something. So I remember losing to Chelsea in a game where that seemed to happen every season. It was one set piece we get done by, but the rest of the game was pretty even. But it's just that long throw in the box, that absolute chaos. That it's you're probably same here as me when you're sort of playing. I remember on the schoolyards, it'd be you got 2 minutes to go before the break whistle's going, and it'd just be in the mixer, and it'd just be like everyone's in the box, and someone's just pumping balls long, and it's just someone's trying to get on a knockdown, and it's beautiful chaos. Everybody does love it, but yeah, 2-0 Heather. There you go, another win. Yeah. Are you starting to look at European destinations yet? Bournemouth's a lovely place to be in the summer anyway, but
well, I don't live there, do I? So
no, you can go down and enjoy the town.
We were so close last year to it that we had already started thinking about it, but obviously then we fell off at the end. But maybe this year will be the year, because our owner was initially, he'd said 2 years ago that it'll be Europe within 5 years, and then last year we got so close, and he did say, "Oh, I was quite disappointed that we didn't make it." So I think, he will, if we need strengthening in January or something, which he didn't do last year, he probably will cough up some more money for some extra players.
And you know what? Like, looking at that result as well on Saturday, you look at how well, you know, Bournemouth have done as an ownership and everything like that. You look when Areola first came in, it was like 2 seasons ago, isn't it? He didn't win his first 8 or 9, wasn't it? And the fact that they could have easily pushed the... Was it 9?
Yeah, 9 games, and then Phil Billings scored against Burnley and managed to save him.
He hasn't lost since. but like the fact that they could have easily pushed the button there and said, it's not working. But the fact that they were patient with him. Yeah. And then you look at like Forest on the other side, who gave Ange, you know, half a week. And you know, everyone had got rid of Nuno, who did brilliantly there. You know what I mean? They overachieved last year. Nuno did a fantastic job. But you just look at, you know, contrasting kind of the way clubs are run. The fact that you got
that was quite funny because their fans, obviously, when they were losing, were singing "You're getting sacked in the morning," and then our fans started singing back, which apparently came across quite loudly on the TV. "You're getting sacked in the car park."
Yeah, they've not covered themselves in glory so far this season. Nottingham Forest after a tremendous last season, but David says long throw-ins, jumpers for goalposts, dogs running on the pitch, parents shouting your goalkeeper in for tea. Great days. There you go.
Yeah, and it was always the person who had the ball who got called in first, and
they weren't allowed to leave it out.
Game over. This is it. If you had the ball, you were popular. You were the popular kid at school. If you were the one with the best football, that's for sure. You were the one everyone came to. But so talking of dreams of Europe, that could potentially be a possibility, kind of out of nowhere, Manchester United have won again for the 3rd time in a row. Matey boy is 2 away from a big haircut. The way it's going, it's been a crazy, you know, a whole year of hammering with no back-to-back victories, and then now they've gone 3 on the trot. It's kind of a little bit insane. David saying shoes on the other foot now. Sam, United are winning and Paul is sinking. I know. I can't say I'm disappointed about it, if I'm going to be completely honest. But
Sam, do you think Josh has done a Fergie? Josh seen it coming and thought, I can't be doing this year. I'm done. You can see a new era. A new era is coming. Get out of there before it sinks. It is crazy how the two things are kind of coinciding at the same time. And I mean, it's only 3 games, and we're only sort of talking 2.5 weeks. But it's been crazy, the kind of that swing that they're now 2 points ahead of Liverpool. Considering Liverpool went and won the first 5 games of the season, and we were sort of looking over our shoulder a bit, going, it's been a really the last 3 games have been. You can start to see, because the big criticism has always been that Amorim's this system, this one way of playing, but you can see the tweaks, and I think it's a mix of the players getting it, and it's a mix of adjustments to things that haven't been going right. And it probably saw more so at the weekend against Brighton and the way that they played, because you had to play a certain way at Anfield anyway, because it's a difficult ground to go, no matter what state any club is at going to Liverpool. But what I'm seeing changes in the system where, you know, in what we were doing was our midfielders would scream out and out of possession. We'd try and press up high up the pitch. We just get played through. And in transition, that's where that big area in the middle of the pitch, United there was just getting cut open week after week after week. The slight changes you're seeing, the centre backs come in and step in. It's more compact in there. Fernandes and Casemiro aren't screaming their way out of possession, so it's then the strikers are dropping in and they're doing their work a little better. So it is tightening that midfield unit up, which means, I think, because they're so much better out of possession, we're then in a better position when we get in possession. And we've got some fantastic technical players this season. I mean, Matheus Cunha, I just love that guy. Like on the ball, his touch, his movement, his intelligence is absolutely superb. Brian Mbeumo is so direct. He's so direct, and so where last season, at times we'd pump the ball up long, or we'd try and find a way out, and it would bounce off Højlund, or Garnacho would dribble into the middle of bloody nowhere. We've got some people with actual footballing brains who are able to bring the ball down and not only get you out of trouble at the back, but start an attack and start a counter and quick touches. And it was the best
the best I've seen Ahmad and Mbeumo linked together as well. So obviously Ahmad's had that slight change in position to the right wing back, which still not convinced long term that's where he's best, but it seems to be working a bit better. Him and Mbeumo are choosing the moments, and you'll get in situations when you play Ahmad on the right wing back, they're so concerned where Mbeumo's going inside. Suddenly they leave Ahmad one-on-one with the defence, which, as you know, Ant, is a disaster for the defender. Because he's very difficult in a one-on-one situation. That's for sure.
In that game that you played us, that worked because obviously we had Masuaku playing left back. He had a very, very difficult game. Ended up getting, I think he got hooked quite early on, didn't he? We had to make that change.
He did, because he changed it tactically, didn't he? Like off the back of that, you brought Ballard on, I think, didn't you, and changed the setup.
Yeah, we took the Dringer off, didn't we? Because Dringer wasn't tracking Ahmad at all, and it kept on getting 2-on-1 all the time, and
it was, and that Sunderland game was the start of, and that was a massive game for us because it was off the back of a disappointing result against Brentford, and that's how it had been. It was almost when is the sword going to fall at that point? And the board's stuck by it. The fans are kind of, where are we going with this? What's happening? And you're starting to see things. And I think I'd been saying it all season, to be fair, on the pod. The home form's been good. They've had a couple of poor away games, but I think it was almost over-egged because of what happened at the end of last season, how poor we were last season, and because of the Grimsby result. Those two things are the massive things.
I was going to say that. I think the Grimsby result has kind of put a little bit of needless pressure on him when, yes, it's a disappointing result. It's gutting, you know what I mean? It's only the League Cup. But, I think that it just came back at a bit, because you were kind of, you'd start the season quite well, and it wasn't too bad, and then obviously, that ended up being, it led to a bit of a bad run. But 3 wins in a row. Is it 4 in a row now? No, it's 3. Yeah, that's right.
It's 3 and 4 and 5, and 3 on the trot. So, and say, going to Nottingham Forest next week, who obviously say the new manager, but if they play like Heather said they play at the weekend, I'll be quite happy to say that. But it's a game that you fancy that we can do some damage in now, and you feel that the team's got confidence, they've got belief in what we're doing. They seem to be a sort of a happy bunch of players. To get Canu on the score sheet was so important because he played well, but not kind of hit the back of the net yet. So that's always a big thing. Sheshko's starting to get involved in the link-up play as well, and I think he might take a bit longer to settle. But generally, like for an hour of that game, it was like, wow. I can't remember the last time, the last 12 months, where United have been comfortable in a match like that against a very good Brighton side. This is not a joke of a team at all. Brighton are one of our nightmare bogey teams. I think they've beaten us 5 times out of 6, and quite often we're chasing shadows in some of those games. We've been well beaten and deservedly so. So it was great. And then we made some substitutions that really unsettled the match a little bit. Brighton then got back into it. They had they got one through the Welbeck free kick, where he was. I knew Danny Welbeck was going to score. There's a man on form. There's a man that always scores against us. I kind of don't. I love Danny Welbeck. What a professional that guy is.
He always scores against us as well.
He's just a goal scorer. As David said, United were 3-0 up near the end, and 3-2 nearly injury time. That Sam was kicking the cat. Well, I don't have a cat, so I definitely wasn't kicking a cat. But
if you did have one,
if I did have one, and it was in the vicinity, I can't guarantee. It was getting a bit. Scratchy bum time, I think, as Fergie used to call it. But for Mbeumo to then score, to just roll things over in the injury time, it's been a great few weeks, and I think most United fans aren't getting ahead of themselves because we haven't had this kind of consistency, we haven't had this kind of confidence, and there's still not the trust in the team that they can then go and do it. I mean, even look at that game that potentially, had it gone another way, then would have thrown a 3-0 lead away. The narrative would be completely different. The confidence would be different. Everything would change. So, but it's where start of the season I kind of expected us to be. This is with the team that we've got, with no European football. They should be learning the system better. They should be able to play a certain way of football, and the talent that's there, they should be knocking around for the top 6. That's where they should be. And they can even look and maybe say, maybe we could overachieve this season, because other teams, Arsenal aside, nobody's really massively worrying me. I've been impressed by Spurs so far, and say Bournemouth have done very well, but a long season, are they going to be able to sort of keep it going? Of course, like yourselves are up there out with sort of Sunderland, but you don't know how that's going to play out sort of long term. So you know that teams like Liverpool and that will come back. There's no doubt about it. At some stage, that's going to click a bit better than it has, and we'll get onto them in a minute. But you've got teams like Chelsea, poor at the weekend. They're capable of dropping 3 points. You've got teams like Newcastle have been capable of dropping. They've been awful away from home so far this season. They've not up there. Villa have been on a great run, but had a poor run. So there's no reason, I think, United fans are starting to say, why can't we be up there if we can get the consistency at one game a week? The Grimsby result and being knocked out of the League Cup might actually be the greatest thing for our season, despite the absolute chaos we took for it. And say we scored 4 goals against the Brighton team that have only conceded 2 times this season. So the signs are positive. The signs are better. And the one thing is, guys, it's exciting to watch. It is good, exciting to watch. United haven't had a boring game yet this season, and it's fun to watch. And they're quicker. They're more direct with their play. And it's a Manchester United. I think the fans they can see elements of what they believe a Manchester United team should be. But the confidence and the trust still needs to be there, because there's no guarantee that in 3 weeks' time you think maybe we go on a 3-match losing streak and we're back down in 12th and, the world is all doom and gloom again, So we'll take it.
You've got to give credit where it's due, though. And obviously with Amaron, I think he has changed the system. I think he was saying, was he going on about the Pope? He wouldn't even say the Pope, he would change the system. But he's definitely tweaked it, hasn't he? And
it's one of those, I think it's like an under the hood tweaks, I think.
Yes.
A couple of things, yeah.
Well, and I mean, the big thing he's done is obviously bring Lemons in, who's started quite well, hasn't he?
He looks confident.
Obviously a better keeper than Binder and stuff, and, he's kept that. And I think it just goes to show that you mentioned on Saturday there, and if that had been last season and Brighton had got back into it with minutes to go, you probably would have expected United to fold and conceded a third. The fact that they showed a little bit of courage, a little bit of balls to go and get that 4th goal instead of just defending it, then that I think that's where it kind of, you think it has changed a little bit. And obviously Cunha's, I agree, Cunha's a wonderful footballer and just needed that goal. He'll fly now. And then Bremo was one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. He's a fantastic footballer. Been a really good signing. He's scoring goals, isn't he? So, and it's kind of...
How many yellow cards is he on though?
What's that, Terry?
How many yellow cards is he on this year?
I'm not sure,
Not too many just yet.
But what it's done is it's taken the pressure off Sesko, hasn't it? And it's allowed Amaron not to, because he's not played every week, has he? But it's allowed him just to take his time with them a little bit, not put too much pressure on him, and make it, because obviously goals are coming from all over the park. So it's a great start. So got to be happy.
Got to be happy. And as you said, Ant, they can embed Sesko in, and it's allowed. We've got different ways of playing. He can play Cunha up top and bring Mason Mount in when he needs that certain needed for the press, and that's a different way to play. You can play Ahmad in those attacking roles as well as a different option to bring into there. And we've still got one or two players, I think, that are sort of not too far from coming back in to help the lads as well. But they don't need a massive squad this season, because without Europe, until the FA Cup's on, until later on in the season where there are some midweek fixtures, we've got one game a week, which for United fans is not something you're used to. And usually we're looking at it going, there's 3 games in a week. Who are we going to play this weekend? Oh God, we've got to play this guy. There's none of that. They're properly training and they're preparing for the teams. This is the difference as well, I think, is he's preparing for the teams. He's looking at Brighton properly rather than just, we're just going to play the way we play. People knew how to work us out. And that's where I think he's making more of these tweaks, because he's got a bit more time to prep for what he's up against. And it's just very, very exciting. Graham's in. Lamons has come in and replaced the lemons we previously had. Sticks. There were a couple of lemons.
Have you seen that? It was an Arna gone. It was a Galatasaray, and Arna's gone now.
He's gone to someone in Turkey. Is it Trabzonspor or somebody like that, I think?
Yeah, they're calling him the wall. Not a very well-built wall.
Yeah, he's had some moments there as well. I think I saw an interview with Amorim about it, and he was saying, both us and Anna just thought maybe a change of environment is the best moment in time for a change of environment. Basically, like, I needed to get them the bloody hell out of our goal because he was chucking it in the back of the net every week. Yeah, it's made a big difference. It's confidence to the back line. So yeah, very, very good times. I'm very pleased with it. And as we said, it's kind of coincided with the fall of the champions at the moment. Whereas Liverpool have lost again. It's become quite a recurring theme down at Brentford.
Wow.
I was a bit not concerned. I'm not concerned for Liverpool. Let's be honest. I can't lie about that. But when Arne Slot started talking in the pre-match press conferences and after previous games about we're struggling with direct balls, we're struggling with sort of long throw, people that are thrown into the box and that going, you're going to Brentford, you're going to a guy. This manager was a set piece coach. Talk about saying we don't like this, please don't do this, and he's there going, right, here's what we're going to do, every opportunity. But what a result for Brentford, 3-2, beating Liverpool at home. People were writing Andrews off start of the season, weren't they? But that's an incredible result, no matter what form Liverpool are in.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And you're right. I think everyone had Andrews. I was probably there as well, thinking I think he would struggle. And probably if you opened the sack race up, he would have probably been at the top, if not the very top of everyone's lips. So, no, fair play to him. I mean, they either win or lose, Brentford. They've only drawn one game all season, so they either win or they lose. But I mean, what a fantastic result! And again, it's something the Premier League probably needed. You don't want a team running away with it. We wouldn't want to ask Arsenal. Arsenal look phenomenal, don't they? But you don't want when Liverpool won the first 5 games and they didn't really play that well. You're thinking, this is going to be very predictable and everything. But it just for one reason or another, just everything's gone. Do laddie for them in the minute. Another team who doesn't draw, they haven't drawn at all this season. They've either won or lost. So but I think watching the highlights back, and you kind of looked at it, and Brentford thoroughly deserved the win, getting a good early goal, obviously going 2-0 up. Then Kirkes scoring, and we've said before, Kirkes is really struggling, but I think Kirkes should be doing better for the first goal. Allowing Ouattara to get across him. He's got to be stronger there.
And he should know better with Dango as well, because they played together last year. So.
Exactly, yeah. And it was, like I say, it was poor. And even the second goal, it's just a basic ball over the top, isn't it? Kevin Charter's got the freedom of London to put it at the back of the net. And the worrying thing with Liverpool is, I don't think it's a thing that they've been found out. I just think it's taken a little while. Obviously, Riyad hasn't really done it yet, has he? And Salah isn't playing very well. I know he scored on Saturday, so that might be an upturn in form. But the fact that they put all the eggs really in the Isak basket, and that hasn't quite helped out. Isak doesn't look suited for Liverpool's style. That's the problem, I think. And Ekitike has the odd good game, doesn't he? But then these bad games are bad. I don't think Van Dijk looks comfortable at all. And
he was mad on Saturday, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was. Everybody. He was critical. Yes. And I think the third goal's harsh. I think it's outside the box, which is which is a little bit harsh. But the biggest surprise for me has been Konate. He was rumoured for Real Madrid, wasn't he, in the summer? And he looks like a Sunday League player at the minute. He's just all over the place. And the problem is with Liverpool, if you're conceding these goals, and they're very, very sloppy goals to concede, you're not going to win the league. And it made them, last year, the fact that they were quite tight at the back, and I mentioned before, Konate being as strong as he was, they are struggling now. And obviously they lost Trent as well, who gave them so much, going forward and everything like that. Kirkes coming in hasn't quite, hit the ground running. You probably are worried if you're a Liverpool fan, because it's such an alarming drop off in form. You're thinking, well, what's happening? And it's not just it's obviously bled into the Champions League form as well. So they're in a little bit of trouble. They've got Villa on Saturday in the late kickoff, which you look at what Villa are doing. Villa have been outstanding. So, you must be worried. But what a job Keith Andrews is doing. And again, someone who you've got to be happy for, haven't you? Because he just, when the camera's on him, he looks as if he's enjoying every second of it, doesn't he? And that's quite, because he probably wasn't expecting the job or anything like that. And obviously with Brentford losing Thomas Frank and stuff, and obviously losing in Braymo to Manchester United, the fact that they look decent without him. And they've made a cracking
as well, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And Rissa, who hasn't played yet, has he? So, but the fact that again, we mentioned Xhaka before, haven't we, for Sunderland? But you look what they've done with Jordan Henderson, who's obviously got a World Cup, probably his last major tournament for England if he does get into the squad. But he's not done his chances any harm with what he's done so far this season. And again, it's just that calmness, it's just that experience of being there and doing it and stuff like that. He was excellent on Saturday. Absolutely fantastic.
It's the way for me he's turned into like a ball player midfield. Suddenly he's playing these insane passes from deep and sort of finding players. You're like, is this the stuff he's learned on the continent? This is the new style Jordan Henderson. It's another arrow. No wonder he's in the England squad. Tommy Tuchel knew what he was doing.
But you know what he's done with what I love about Jordan Henderson? Because obviously he started off at Sunderland as well. The fact he can reinvent himself so many times. Like when he started off at Sunderland, he was a winger. But then he went into midfield and he was, doing the odd spray and the odd pass and scoring the odd goal and everything like that. But when he went to Liverpool, when Liverpool were in, the heights when they won the Champions League and all that stuff, he was the glue, wasn't he? He was the one who just stood back and, broke the plate and everything like that. Went to Ajax, was captain at Ajax, had a bit of a difficult time at Saudi or whatever. But he's come back here. And as you said, he's just turned into Zidane, just putting these balls over the top and stuff. And the fact he's got that in him, the cleverness and the experience to say, well, I need to do this at this club, which is different to what I've done in any other club, has been tremendous for him. And fair play to him. Like he's again another one who I've got loads of time for him. You mentioned Danny Welbeck before, I've got loads of time for him. But yeah, Jordan's done class, and I really hope he does make the World Cup squad because I think he deserves it. I've got to be honest.
His performances are certainly warranting it at the moment. Graham says the warning signs have been there. Week 1 for Liverpool. Only the last-minute goals gave them the good start they had defensively poor all season. Yeah, they were. That first game and that first run of games, those late goals and that we all said can't continue with that. But it's kind of got more open and worse than there. David thinks they need to put Salah down the middle. So the right left back aren't helping the only two centre defenders that they've got. I mean, as you touched on that, and Konate, the way he was running back for that, I've never seen someone who just went. He stopped, and you were like, at the very least, you have to try and get and put him. And he was there. If he carried on his stride, he wasn't going to get the ball, but he would have done enough to pressure it. And you're thinking that's basics. That's as a manager or a coach, you'd be going absolutely balmy at that. Surely, if
you're watching that on Saturday and you're a Liverpool fan or whatever, and you see a player doing that, and bearing in mind, from Liverpool to London and all that on a Saturday night, it's going to be an expensive dig, and you probably think they're stopping over because it was like an 8 o'clock kick-off on it. So so that finishes at 10 o'clock and stuff like that. So you probably stopping on so you've put a lot of money into that. And the ticket's going to be a lot of money, and you're seeing one of your players stop. I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped him next week. Just for that. So I would. He'd be out of my club if he did that to me. I wouldn't play him again. That might be extreme. But he literally just down tools, didn't he? And what's that saying to everyone else on the pitch? What's that saying to you play? What's that saying to the likes of Bradley at right back who's just young learning the game? What's that saying when one of your experienced players is just down in tools? You ever think, if that's what's happening, then that for me is the most worrying thing about Liverpool. And when you're seeing good players like that just doing that and just stopping, it's not good.
And with the Salah thing, I'm sure I saw an interview or something with Slot saying the reason he's like that is because so many of the players just behind him have changed. And I think they have just literally just changed so much in that team. And it's just not gelling, is it? Why don't they... I love Kirkes to bits. He was brilliant for us last year, but the first year he played for us, he did the same as he's sort of doing at Liverpool now. He obviously just needs time to sort of get into the system or whatever. Why don't they start Robinson? Is it Robinson or Robertson?
Yeah. Robertson,
and then like give Milos like the last 15-20 minutes just to sort of get used to it and have a bit of stability. It just seems crazy that they're not, they have got these experienced players there and they're not using them.
Mm-hmm. I think they just need to hunker down a little bit in terms of being more compact and more difficult to play through, and because there's enough talent in that attacking unit. Long term, okay, Slot will want to do what he wants to do, and he's kind of like, again, will probably be something. This is how we're playing, but I just think if they just made that a little bit more resolute at the back, because they've got the players to do it, the quality is still there. There's enough in that attacking unit that they're going to be able to pull teams apart. The problem is the amount of goals they're conceding and how many they look like they're conceding, because they look like they're going to score. The threats, and you can see the threats are there. Isak at some stage is going to catch fire a bit. So will Salah. I mean, the goal Salah scored was quality, it was top quality, brilliant touch on the right foot half volley. Not many players, if any, score that in the Premier League, but it doesn't get noticed because of the three the other way. I just think if they just that little bit more compact and that change, and this will be not the first real test for Slot, because obviously he won a Premier League last year, but he won a Premier League where no one stuck with Liverpool, and you wondered like what would happen if that was the case. And now this is the biggest challenge he's had, because it's kind of, you've got all of this, there's no argument, you've got all the tools. You've got all the tools you wanted. They spent 400 million odd quid in the summer. That all the tools are there. You now need to make the masterpiece. That's what it has to be. And it doesn't have to be a masterpiece at first, but it has to be enough that they've got to cut this slide. Because if this carries on and Liverpool start really dropping out of contention, or I know they won in the Champions League last week, so maybe they're in a better position there. But if suddenly then they're under threat of not qualifying in the latter stage of the Champions League, and let's not forget, Liverpool did this last time they won the title. They were awful the season after they won it before. And you have to question, have they got that go again mentality? It's a very new squad, obviously, but big challenge for them.
Do you not think that in the summer they kind of hamstrung themselves a little bit? That the Ekitike signing I thought was good signing, but the fact that it was always Isak who they wanted. It was from the start, and now they've got a problem that they can't play them both in the same team because they've got to change the system. And then Gakpo, to be fair to Gakpo's having a really good season, so they can't drop Gakpo. So they've got an issue now where they've spent a lot of money on two strikers, and they can't put them both in the same team because they're not going to drop.
And they needed a centre back.
Yes, and then they needed somebody. They sacrificed that, and obviously they bought Wirtz to come in, but spent a lot of money on him. And they probably needed, as you said, a centre back and maybe a holding midfielder. Someone who could just like sit in front and do something like that. And now they're looking. I mean, and to be honest as well, maybe replacing Trent, because Conor Bradley was a good player, but Conor Bradley gets injured quite a lot. So you've started seeing Liverpool. Szoboszlai's been playing right back, hasn't he? And he was actually done quite a good job there.
Yeah, and even so, I know Frimpong's been injured, but he's a very different type of player when he's been in there as well. Yeah, he's another big change to what they've been doing.
Yeah, I think maybe they've got it wrong, and the fact that even though last year, and you're right, man, you're absolutely bang on with the fact that Arsenal maybe should have got closer to what they should have done last year. City just died a death and stuff, but he wasn't tested last year, was he? It was just they won the league fairly comfortably. This year now, they've lost these 4 games, and now it's a test of what he's got now. It's a test of what Slot's got, because it's all well and good being a good manager in a good side who's winning every week. But when you're a good manager who's got a good side, who have now spent, in the hierarchy, spent a lot of money now for him to sign players that he wanted, and it's not working, it's like, what's he got now as a manager? It's time for him to show what he's capable of. Now that's when you find out your really good managers from the also rounds is what happens in a crisis and what they can do. And it'll be very interesting to see. Like I say, they've got Villa on Saturday, and that's going to be a very difficult game, because Villa have started to hit the straps, haven't they? So very interesting. And again, just it's these little narratives in it that in this Premier League season, what we're seeing, so I think it's what's making it more interesting. You're seeing these sides who you expect to be up there or aren't up there at the minute, and let's see what happens.
It is a very change of events, and that's where I think any manager makes, as you said, Ant. It's when you're losing. When you're winning, it's easy. You kind of roll things over. When you've got to change, and that's when you've really got to. And Slot will need to relish this. I think David says should see predicted midfield 3 for tomorrow's game for Liverpool. Not feeling great for the match. That would be Carabao Cup, won't it? He says I didn't want Isak nor Wirtz, overrating his opinion, showing him up now and thinks he'll be sacked. Thinks he'll be sacked before Christmas.
I don't think so. And you're right about Isak, though. Isak will at some point come good because he's a fantastic footballer. The fact he hasn't had a pre-season, that's a problem. I mean, it's because of him being him. You know what I mean? Going on strike, down in tools. And he's now not had a pre-season at Newcastle, so he hasn't been able to play any football. He's come to Liverpool and he's going to be off the pace. Now he's got injured. You're probably not going to see the best and probably till after Christmas now. And is that going to be too late? It's the same as we mentioned before. Wissa at Newcastle. I mean, Wissa went down tools, hadn't had pre-season, ended up going home, didn't he? Went to Newcastle, got injured, going to be out till November. You won't see him until Christmas, will you? So, and that's the problem. Liverpool need Isak to start firing now, but it's hard for a player to do that, to play catch up in what is a very good league.
And I think as well, they've had a number of players that because they've spent that money on them. I was talking to, Josh the other day. He's a big fan of Chiesa and said when Chiesa's been playing, but he won't get the chance because they're like, we've got to pay the £155 million guy. We've got to pay the £140 million guy. And I'm with you, when Ekatike showed what he started to do, where Liverpool have always been strong over this past decade, it's been that unit that they've had. No one of them, okay, Salah's been exceptional as star, but when they had Salah, Mane and Firmino, it was a unit that worked together. It was the threats were across the unit. It wasn't one guy was going to be the one that's going to dig you out of stuff. It's absolutely mad. And I think there's possibly an element of that. He's going to be under pressure to play these players and to play that, and to make Wirtz work. They can't get away from that. The amount of money that they have spent. That everyone will pile on that. They always do. United have had that for years. Every time we play a player with any sort of money, the expectation goes like this, the demands go like this, and they have to live with it. But yeah, if you're not winning football matches ultimately, then anyone's going to be in trouble. So it's going to be intriguing. Heather, what do you think Liverpool wise? What do they do apart from try and win a football match? I suppose to stop the rot.
I don't really know that. They've just got to try and gel together as a team, haven't they? Because they've changed half of the team and they don't know how each other plays. But 9 games in, they should be starting to get it, and they don't seem to be. So I don't know what they do about that, really.
No, it's tough ask what's going to happen now. And who would have seen this? 5 games in, everything looked great. And Simon said he was glad he sat down. There was a Sunderland fan actually saying something nice about next Newcastle player. See, Alan Shearer's got nothing on our hand.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not bothered. I've always liked Alexander Isak even before he signed for Newcastle. So I like Nick Waldemar, who they've got now. I think he's a fantastic striker. It's just I can speak nice about the players. It's just, there's no bias here.
This is it. We're all fair. It's all fair in love and war. One final game we're going to go look at in bit detail, and then we'll have a couple of look at some sort of minor games. And I thought we needed to give this one a bit of love because he's not with us tonight, but a massive result at the other end of the table for the Clarets. And massive game for Wolves as well. Wolves have only got 2 points. Still without a victory. That's a massive win for Burnley. Some fantastic goals in this game as well, to be fair. Fleming's first goal I thought was excellent. And then Martin Dubravka's save in the last second of the game. Oh, what a save that was.
Yeah, I hope Simon still sat down now because that was a phenomenal save. And again, he's ex-Newcastle. So, well, that's a phenomenal save. But again, though, we mentioned signings beforehand. We were Jack Henderson, this, that, and the other. Burnley going out, getting a good standard Premier League goalkeeper.
Yeah.
After losing James Trafford. Great signing, that. Great signing.
Yeah, he's been an excellent start, and sadly he didn't get extra points for that for my fantasy team, which is outrageous. I think exceptional save should get extra points, but Heather, Wolves are in trouble, aren't they? They're in big trouble, and Vitor Pereira must be in big trouble. I know he's got a new contract, but they're
it very much looks like they might be down, and it looks like possibly the 3 promoted sides won't be going down this year, like since the first time since us, Forest and Fulham came up. And it also looks like the 3 demoted sides won't come straight back up either, because Southampton's now in like 20th in the Championship.
Oh, yeah, they've got no chance.
And I'm not sure where Ipswich and
Leicester
are. But,
none of them in the playoffs. I don't think any of them in the playoffs. I might be wrong.
Any of them are doing particularly well, are they? So yeah, it's a bit of a strange Premier League this season, isn't it? And Wolves weren't doing great last year, but I kind of put that down to them having Gary O'Neill as manager. But perhaps there's something in the background that's not too good.
I think it's something. Vitor Pereira came in and he had a really good start, and I think impressed a few people with how he got them together. But I don't think the squad's there. I don't think the squad's there. No. I think in terms of Larson's not. Cunha. Yeah, I'd say Cunha was their special, sort of star who could turn a game. You've got I think Larson's a decent striker. I think he'll get you goals, but I just think they've lost so much around it, and they've continually sort of sold players over periods, and you can't continue to do that. And I just think the players they brought in, I mean, I normally when you go through a team, and it's I always think if it's difficult to name a number of their players or who's in their 11 or kind of what they're doing, that possibly tells you something about it as well. But they just every time I watch them, they just concede so many dreadful goals. It's just they're easy to play around. I think the second one for Fleming, like the centre back's just in the complete wrong position as the ball goes over the other side. They don't seem to have any coordination at the back, and Pereira's getting annoyed and frustrated on the touchline. The fans are fuming. They did the same thing with Gary O'Neill, didn't they? They gave him a long-term contract, and then they had to go and sack him. Are we seeing history repeat itself?
Probably.
The problem is, though, if they do sack him, who are they going to bring in? You're going to a team who hasn't won all season. You're going to a team who just bring the table up now, who are get in danger of being cut away already. You're only 6 points off Fulham, who are in 4th bottom, and again, another side who you wouldn't have expected to stroll this year in Fulham, but they are. And like I say, they're threatening to get cut away very, very quickly. Graham's made a good point there, but still very, very early in the season. But they've now put a lot of pressure on them now they've got to go on a good run now just to get out the bottom 3. And you look at the last 2 games Wolves have had been against 2 promoted sides, in us and Burnley, and they've got no points from it. Right. You would have thought bare minimum there would have been win 1, especially Burnley at home. Again, no disrespect to Burnley, because I think Burnley done fantastic. I think Scott Parker's done a really good job at Burnley, to be fair. But you would have they must have looked at that and thinking, we've got to get at least 3 points, possibly 4. Winning a draw would have been outstanding. And then it puts them back a little bit on a level playing field. But the fact they've lost both of them games, I think that's probably...
And especially one at home as well, because Molineux's not, an easy place to go, really.
Exactly.
The Burnley one, definitely the one that they'd have gone, we must win that.
Oh, yeah, he said that, didn't he? The gaffer said that, it's must win. But even when they went 2-0 down, and you're like, right, if they fold over here, it's fair enough. But the fact they got that back to 2-2, and it was before half-time, you're like, wait, what are you expecting there? You're expecting, Wolves to go on and win the game, and then they've lost it at the end. And I think that's probably the big thing to take from that is... The obviously the fragility of that squad is there for everyone to see. They're just falling away. They didn't play badly against us the week before. They actually played quite well, but we ended up keeping a clean sheet, scored 2 goals against them, and one was a free goal. But it's still, it's the fact that we didn't play well and won. And this is a newly promoted side again, Burnley there, who have been brilliant. And as Heather said before, the fact that all three of them are picking up wins and doing bits is great. And we might see a surprise relegation this year, as we said before. But
I think more than one.
Yeah. And I think with Wolves, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure if they sack him now, try and get another manager in, but then if that isn't working by Christmas, January, are they going to sack him? The fact they've put themselves in a rotten position anyway and given him a new contract was so silly. And now, I mean, they're obviously going to have to spend a lot of money to get rid of him. So it's, it's worrying. And just looking again at the fixtures on Saturday or Sunday this weekend.
They were away at Fulham, so it's another
away at Fulham, so it's another big game down. If they lose that, that's 9 points they are out away from the relegation zone. And
then they've lost to another team that's down there because, I mean, as you said, like to say, losing to yourselves, but they lost to Leeds as well. They've lost to all three promoted sides already this season. So I thought they played okay in the game. So prior to Sunderland as well, Tottenham and Brighton, the draws they had there were sparks. They lost those late on. They conceded goals and dropped those points. And you just think that demoralised them a bit. But so you look at who they've still got to play as well. Like, they've not played Arsenal yet. They've not played Liverpool. There's by that time, the Liverpool probably be back to what they're usually playing. Villa are on fire coming up soon. After Fulham, they've got Chelsea away. There's no hiding places here, and they're not picking points up. So where are the wins coming from? And you can't see it. And ultimately, it's only going to end one way, surely. The chat are throwing out their managerial suggestions. Sean throwing Big Sam Allardyce is available.
That was what I was going to say.
Graham reckons Nuno back to Wolves. Big Sam come in. What's Mick McCarthy up to nowadays?
Martin What's all Christ almighty? Yeah.
I mean, that's desperation.
He's in a job somewhere, Mike. I'm sure he's...
Harry Redknapp.
Harry Redknapp, yeah. I'm sure Michael Beale's got a job. I'm sure he's somewhere weird. I'll double check. I'll get back to
you. he's there doing something else. I'm sure there'll be the regular market. It does seem it's on a disaster. But for Burnley and for Dan, what a wonderful result. What a wonderful, particularly having been pegged back from 2 goals and then scoring late on, their first away win of the season, and jumping them up the league. So long may it continue, Dan will say. I've no doubt about it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It is, Football League chat. He was over with a pint in his hand. So, yeah. Michael Beale was at Al Etihad until January. And
he got another payoff.
I knew he was somewhere weird. And he got sacked when Gerrard got sacked. So there you go. So he might be back in it. Yeah,
he's available.
He's available. Michael Beale,
available for an appointment. And so we had obviously Dan won this weekend, Ant won this weekend, Heather won this weekend, I won this weekend, Lucas and Arsenal won this weekend. Of course, Grimmy and Hannah won with me as Manchester United fans. We almost had a podcast clean sweep. It was down to Rebecca.
Down.
And sadly, Everton went down 3-0 at home to Tottenham, so it wasn't quite the Premier League podcast to call it clean sweep. But we'll say we'll go through this one quickly. But Thomas Frank, what a job he's doing at Spurs! What a job he's doing! And of course, it was Van der Ven because I took him out of my dream team. So I literally kissed a death it, and I couldn't believe it. Unbelievable scenes. 2 headers. Come on. What's going on there?
Yeah. I mean, it was me like literally half an hour before thinking I've done all right because I put Gabriel in and I put Calafiori and I already had Saliba and I thought, all right, that's all right. I've got 3 clean sheets. Unaware that Saliba when I've injured. So I never got any points for him. And then Mickey van der Ven, who I dropped completely for Gabriel, like, oh, for God's sake. But I had Konza on the bench and Konza got a clean sheet, didn't he? So...
It's always the way. And you just know as soon as you make the decision, you're like, this is going to bite me. And I knew that Everton was stuffed because as Tottenham went to take the first corner, Sky Sports brought up that graphic with set-piece goals conceded this season, Everton none. And you went, oh, you've just kissed a death them. You've absolutely kissed a death them. It was a disappointing result for Everton. But again, Thomas Frank, Tottenham now up in the top 4, looking really exciting. Not
and
too
first
long.
away team to win at the Hill Dickinson or whatever it's called.
The first away men's team, I will say, because that was in our women's chat. They weren't happy with that pointer, so I will point out for our women's team that I think it was Manchester United women won their first. So the first men's team was definitely this weekend. And so Van der Ven scoring goals, doing really well. They've got Colin Mawani starting for them now, so he's coming into the team a little bit. And Palin, I think we say it every week. Love that. The Palin is such a signing. Can't believe how much under the radar that seemed to go. But the North London derby is not that far away. They'll be wanting to have a go. They'll be wanting to have a go at Arsenal. I think that could be very tasty.
You wouldn't want them conceding as many chances as they did Everton.
No,
because Everton did have a lot of the ball, didn't they? They did have and obviously there was that goal that was disallowed, which was. You're not sure on where you. So, I think it's it would be an interesting North London derby, but he has done a good job, and he's made them a little bit more stable, hasn't he? They're not conceding as many daft goals, and Vicario seems to be better this season than what he was. He was outstanding in Champions League, wasn't he, last week? So
he made a couple of good saves, I thought, the weekend as well. They've almost got a free hit, I think, at it this season because they're doing so well. And I don't imagine Spurs have got crazy expectations now this season. They're in the Champions League, having won the Europa League, and after what happened last season in the league, so I think anything from this point.
Well, it couldn't have got worse.
But it could have got very, very worse if it. Imagine that we had that going on last. The three promoted sides last season are performing like these season. I could have been in trouble last
Could have
year.
had Man United and Tottenham relegated. Yeah, very easily.
Could have been a disaster. But I think Tottenham with some big tests to come, and I think the expectation from the fans will start to come the more the way they play. But I mean, they've only they lost to Villa last week, so it was good for them, I think, to get back in the winning. But it's a tough run they got now. So home matches against North London derby, well, not North London, London derby against Chelsea. They've got Manchester United at home, then they've got Arsenal away in their next three fixtures, and I'm pretty sure there's a Champions League fixture in amongst that and all.
Have you heard what was said this week? I think it's a very good point as well about Spurs' ground, because they've spent obviously the money, and it's beautiful. Obviously, we've been there when we won our FCA award, but the name drop there, by the way.
But, always welcome.
The fact where it's a beautiful stadium, but a lot of people say it's very comfortable for away teams to play at because it's that much of a nice stadium and stuff. And Spurs have always struggled to generate a huge kind of atmosphere. And the fact that it's brought a lot of corporate in, it's become a little bit comfortable for teams to go there and actually pick up a result, because it feels like it's just another home game for them. So I think they've got to pick that up, because that's one thing where they have struggled a little bit this season. The home form hasn't been great, whereas the away form has been brilliant. So to get a few at home, they need to start picking that up. Then I think they'll be. I think they probably will be top four if they do that, because they are a good side. Richarlison he goes missing every season. He always has a bit of a dump, doesn't he, where you just don't know who he is. But I mean, again, they've signed Kudos is a good signing for them. Yeah, and he's playing completely different than he was at West Ham, where he was relied on to score a lot of goals. He hasn't really been doing that, but he's got a lot of assists, hasn't he? So they'll be absolutely fine. And having Mickey Van der Ven, who's for me the best defender in the league, there you go. He's actually. I tell you what, I didn't know as well. And this is what was said on Sunday. There's never been a defender who scored a hat trick in the Premier League, and I would have thought Van Dijk or someone must have got a hat trick, but no one has.
I suppose, thinking about it, you'd imagine that would come to mind, wouldn't it? If somebody has, I mean. I suppose, if you're looking at a centre-back, you're probably looking at a set piece that they're going to get involved in, so you kind of have to have a few and go their way. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Gabriel not to do it sooner rather than later. If Arsenal end up with 30 corners one day, then he's likely to score 3 of those, I'm sure.
But even someone like Leighton Baines at Everton, who used to score worldies, but he also got
Gareth Bale was playing
penalties. Gareth Bale, but not one. So. Because Gareth Bale's classed as a midfielder, wasn't he? Not left back.
Yeah, so. He started off at left back at Southampton, didn't he? But I mean, on the stadium, I think it's quite. We've seen it for a number of clubs, haven't we? Carragher with 3 own goals.
That doesn't count.
That's not allowed. Southampton had the same problem, when they moved to St Mary's from the Dell. The Dell was a horrible stadium for teams to play at, and I think Arsenal had the same when they moved to the Emirates. West Ham have struggled a little bit, haven't they, when they moved from the Berlin ground to where they're at now.
Have you seen your away team and home team changing rooms?
I have. I've seen Sunderland's. Yeah.
Is it like, so with ours? The home team one is quite plush and nice, and they've got all hot showers and everything. The away team one is pretty awful. It looks like you've gone into like a really shabby sports centre and like all the lockers are broken. The seats are like a little bit not padded, and they've got 10 showers, only one of them's hot, just to make it like really inhospitable.
Warmly.
The away teams. It was Eddie Howe that sort of did that, so
Apparently he's done that with Newcastle as well.
Probably.
You know what I mean? They turn the cold water off.
I imagine you're going to get the special treatment when you go out. They'll be
they'll be doing something.
They'll have hidden a piece of sort of rotten eggs or something in the corner or something for you to shout. I think I've seen. I think England had it once when they were abroad somewhere or other as well. That they had to. Yeah, I think they all came out like a caravan or something.
Yes. Yeah. What we've done. So we've got ours painted obviously red and white for the home one, but they painted the away one blue because apparently blue, it's like dark blue, is a colour that makes you feel like you're
depressed,
like pressed in. Yeah. So it makes the whole changing room. The change rooms are both exactly the same size. It makes it feel smaller, so it makes you feel a little bit claustrophobic. But it's worked all right this season. We've won pretty much all of our home games and drawn the other ones. So.
Is it? They're clearly onto something. Right. Let me have a look. If I switch us back onto this mode here, then I can bring up the fixture list, the results from the rest of the games in the Premier League that we had this weekend. No draws. Across.
There's not been many in any league lately. There's always seen teams. I think
teams are going for it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. When we did the Football League show last Thursday, I think there was 3 draws in all the leagues played in 2, and 2 of them were double up games, and there was only 3. I'm sure if Luke's still in, Luke's the draw expert, but I think there was only 3.
Luke will know, especially if it's a 0-0. It'll definitely be all over it. But the games we didn't cover: Leeds beating West Ham 2-1. A really good win for Leeds. I mean, I think we've said it week after week after week. West Ham have got a lot of work to do. With that team. Nuno's got a hell of a task on his hands there. But for Leeds, been sort of struggling to hit the back of the net in recent games, and sort of found it. I think Aronson needed that goal because I think he'd been under pressure a lot from the Leeds fans, and getting that victory for them, as you said, like, it's so important for the promoted sides to have that home form, isn't it? It's just such a key to any chance of survival.
And all 3 have so far. All 3 have, and as you said, I said before, you win again a team that's going to be around them. You win them games, and at one point you will surprise somebody, especially at Ellen Road. As you mentioned before, like down at the Vitality, it's a very, very, close ground. It's it's not the greatest of stadiums, but Leeds do get a lot of luck there, a lot of joy there. To be fair,
we've seen it.
Yeah, I think they'll be again. They might be fine. As you said before, might be all 3 the way it's going, but it's a long way to go.
It is a long way to go. Graham says, no draws mean no Desmonds.
No, not this week.
Not this week. David says, Liverpool are the only team not to draw. Although if you're losing every week, I'm not sure that's a great that's a great stat. You might need a couple at least to stop the Reds. But and Simon says, West Ham, in the words of Prophet Fraser, doomed. They are doomed. The only thing I will say, and we have this every season, is that you have a team at the start of the season that are terrible, that are bad. I've seen in the past, this is not so much of recent times, but Crystal Palace used to do it all the time. They'd be dreadful up until Christmas, and then they'd be like the best formed team from like February.
And finish in 12th.
In 12th. And also you've got to remember there's January. And I think particularly with West Ham, I mean, evidently there's not enough legs in that midfield. There's not enough. there's not enough energy in that team. Can Nuno get them in a position where they're okay enough that in January he can inject some of that to maybe do that?
I just don't think you'll get the backing. I think it's been coming for West Ham for a long time. The problem they've got is they spent a lot of money a few years ago. Obviously, they won the Conference League. And they thought they'd kick up like that.
Didn't they?
You'd have thought the selling of Declan Rice would have brought in, like we said before, with replacing these players, and they haven't replaced him. Bowen's still keeping them afloat. They've lost Kudos, haven't replaced Kudos.
Where's the Kudos money gone? Because they got 50 million.
Exactly.
I mean, I know they bought Mateus Fernandes in for like 30, but there's still, they've not reinvested the squad.
No, and again, they look really dodgy at the back. They're in massive trouble. I would actually say West Ham are in more trouble than Wolves, even though Wolves have only got 2 points. I think West Ham are just because you're not expecting. Maybe a few people were expecting West Ham, but the getting Potter last year was silly. That was never going to work out because he was under pressure straight away, and yeah, I don't want to say it's sad to see because I'm happy there's 3 worse teams than us. So I'm not bothered who goes down as long as it's not us. But you're right, though. There is always a team who manage to get themselves out of it. There's also a team who at some point will have a horrible run of form and will drop down. So it's very, very early days. But when you're seeing like 2 teams who are evidently struggling a lot, and in fact 3 teams were Forest who are evidently really, really struggling. You look at West Ham. I mean, they've conceded 20 goals so far this season. That's the most out of everybody, including Wolves. They've only won 1 game. And again, they've played us. They've played Leeds. I think they've played Burnley. Can't remember, but they've played teams around them and stuff. And yeah, it's worrying if you're a West Ham fan. Not worrying if you're a Sunderland fan or a Burnley fan or a Leeds fan.
No, you need someone to jot down there. And the one thing with West Ham, though, that I think, they have Jared Bowen. And I think Jared Bowen is something Wolves don't have. There's that quality, but they do need to shook up at the back because Bowen's not going to do it on his own. I think they had that a bit last season when they were doing okay. Bowen goes on fire, on fire for a few games, and that can be enough. But if you're conceding constantly stupid goals, it's not going to be enough. They need to make that more robust. And Ange, I think, again, another manager with a style of play difficult to implement in the season with a team that's low on confidence, with a team that doesn't have energy. Again, a real difficult mix. But same old week, same old every week it seems at the minute for West Ham. And they've got this weekend, they're at home to Newcastle. So Newcastle's away record isn't great, but
it's not. But you look at how many goals have conceded so far and the style of goals, and you look at what Walton can do.
Yeah.
And Newcastle are turning a little bit of a corner, aren't there? With 2 wins, obviously the one in the Champions League and they beat Fulham. Only just scraped through against Fulham, to be fair. But but he's fit now, isn't he? And Potter said he wasn't going to play. I don't think he's in the Premier League squad, is he?
No, he was training with somebody else, wasn't he? I forget who it was. I think it was somebody it might have been someone in the Championship. I think he was training with. Can't remember who, but as you said, Newcastle getting the victory over Fulham. Like Fulham are another one that have sort of they had a bit of bad luck, I thought, at the start of the season, but now they're racking losses up, and it's
not a good day to be Calvin Bassey. He was at fault for both the goals, really poor defending, and again another one you're looking at thinking where their goal's going to come from. Where's their upturn going to be? Is it maybe a season where Fulham are going to struggle and, like I say, 4th off bottom?
Yeah. When they came to play us, they didn't have a striker. They were playing Harry Wilson and King up front. Yeah. And it was just like
it's 4 on the bounce now. They at the start of the season wasn't bad at all. They were unlucky. They were unlucky against Chelsea. They played well at times against United. So they then went and beat Leeds and they went and beat Brentford at home. And then they're just on this poor run. But they have, to be fair, when you look at the fixtures, they've walked into Aston Villa away, who are on form. They've walked into Bournemouth away, which is a nightmare to go to at the moment. They played Arsenal. Understandable. St James's Park's always difficult to go to with Newcastle, but this weekend, Fulham Wolves is massive for both teams. I think absolutely massive this early on, but definitely massive. Marco Silva needs that victory. You know, they seem to be. Whenever I've seen, they only seem to have a bit of a spark when they bring this Kevin guy on in the second half. Like, I know they've got high hopes for Josh King, but like Kevin's the Brazilian Kevin is their savior and their hope at the moment.
I really want them to sign somebody called Perry, just so I can have Kevin and Perry.
Kevin and Perry, and could maybe they loan like McAllister as well, or something. So we have Kevin and McAllister up front would be great. Yeah, some work to do for Fulham. Elsewhere, we didn't touch on, of course, Arsenal won again, clean sheet again, set piece goal again. They're tough. They're going to be tough they seem to have this grit and consistency that they haven't had in the past, and that's the hallmark of just getting over the line. I mean, It's not the most exciting thing to watch, but it's very effective. And Arteta and Arsenal, the squad's strong. There's lots of quality. They don't give up many chances, not just even goals. They're not giving up many chances. And 4 points clear at the minute. You just think, who's going to be consistent enough to be able to match that? They're a problem.
Yeah,
I think.
And you're right. And obviously they picked up a few injuries as well. I know Odegaard hasn't been fit for most of the season. But the players that they've got who were coming in, like the Zuba Mendes and the lad who came on for Saliba, I can't remember. Is it Maresca? Not Maresca?
Yeah, Mosquera that's come in.
Mosquera, that's him.
Massive upgrade on Kiwior, massive upgrade.
Yeah, and obviously Calafiore has been outstanding for them. But then even if he doesn't play, they've got Lewis Skelly, the Martinelli who comes on and always does a job. They look strong. And I tell you what they needed though, and we've said it for years with Arsenal, needed a centre forward. And even though Gyökeres hasn't scored as many goals as I think Arsenal fans would like, the fact he pulls a lot of defenders, left to right and everything like that, which allows Arsenal's attacking players to do well. And, he's been a really good signing for them, even though he hasn't Mascara, that's him. At least, I think he's done a really good job there. I thought he was excellent actually on Sunday. I watched a little bit of that game. I thought he was really good. Without scoring goals, he's making a difference for them.
Yeah, and he's allowing those players like Eze and that to kind of disappear and pick it up in the pocket exactly where you want people like him, like Saka, where they're going to do the danger. And as you said, players to come back. Odegaard's out. We haven't seen Havertz yet this season. He was really good for them last season. He'll offer something different. It'd be interesting how they manage that with Gyökeres as well. But Havertz will give them a different option, particularly if they want to go deep in the Champions League. They're going to need that squad as well. But the squad does look every position, as you said, left back, Calafiore, Lewis Skelly. We've not even seen the young kid Nwaneri much yet, who I think is fantastic as well. Who should be getting some minutes at some stage. So there's just plenty. There's plenty to bring in there. It's a very, very good squad. But a win, that's what they needed. And Manchester City losing. Manchester City had perked up a little bit recently. You stop Haaland, you stop Man City. It
seems that way, doesn't it? Yeah, seems that way. You worry with City with the amount of attacking players have got, like the Savinhos, your Doctor's, Ford, and the fact that it's still, obviously Erling Haaland's a machine, isn't he? He's such a wonderful player, but Erling Haaland's not going to score in every game as much as he tried. Well, he did actually, didn't he? But it got disallowed, and I think he paid the ultimate prize, didn't he? Getting the crown jewels smashed in against the post. But if you stop, I think that seems. But again, a really good win for Villa, who've turned the corner now, and Unai Emery doing a really good job there.
Yeah, this is it. Massive turn for Villa. I don't understand it with City where then these players have goals in them. They've got quality in there, and it just doesn't seem to be. The De Bruyne thing can't be that much of it. I know Rodri's, this issue they've got with Rodri seems to be massive for the entire team, but he's trying to change up the way they're sort of playing, and they've been better in recent weeks, and they have looked sort of more. They have looked more dangerous, but it's definitely a team in transition. You can see that. And a team in transition, the hallmark is that they're unpredictable and that they are a little bit up and down, and they're going to have things which ultimately won't lead you to a title challenge, but still very dangerous on their day, no doubt. But for Villa, Emery's done a great job because they were under pressure. Their start was awful. Absolutely awful. And they've won, is it 4 on the trot now? Or say it's almost, is it 4 or 5? It's 4. Yeah, 4 on the trot, and they drew twice before them.
Not Champions League, is it?
No, they got beat in midweek. They got beat off Go Ahead Eagles. There were 2. I think they were 2-0 up, 1-0 up, and then they got beat. But he's done a good job. And a great goal as well from Matty Cash, the
Yeah.
Premiership National.
I've
So
got him in my
grateful for
FPL, so I was happy.
yeah. Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Signed a new contract as well, celebrated it. And he had a great assist as well, didn't he? The previous week, he played that fantastic ball. It was that touch that he had for I think it was their second goal last week against Spurs, but doing very well. And there's a Merseyside back and forth going on the chat, where Rich is saying Everton want Tony, Ivan Tony. Beto's not the answer. Barry's finding it hard in Prem. He's young, 24-year-old. And David's come back with him with Everton to be better signing Tony Bellew. So it's good to see that the Merseyside blue and red are still backing each other. But which is Tony's 29, still has a lot to give. He'll be better. But I wouldn't be surprised to see someone take a chance on getting Tony back in the Premier League. He's not going to stay out in Saudi. Do a couple of years and then come back. And Graham, of course,
his ego.
Yeah. Graham, of course, not letting us down with the puns. Matty Cash is on the money lately. He's on the money. Very good. Very good. So the table, what does the table look like? Wow, this is why there's a lot of smiling faces. Because it's all up here in the top left.
Yeah.
Wonderful scenes. Arsenal, as we said, top of the league, 22 points. Bournemouth, Tottenham and Sunderland. Yes. Bournemouth, Tottenham and Sunderland in the top 4 spaces currently, and Manchester City and Manchester United in 6th in yellow. Wonderful. With plus
I think
goal
we should
difference.
just stop the league now after 9 just finish it.
Stop the rot. And that's the top 6. And then the bottom 3 is still Nottingham Forest, West Ham. And look at their goal difference already. It's double any of the teams above them. It's just... It's a poor start for those 3 teams. Really poor start. But it's only match day 9. Plenty of times to go. And we haven't got anything for Europe, but I did want to touch on quickly with Europe one thing that Rebecca will want me to mention in the Scottish League. Not Dundee this week, but Hearts beat Celtic 3-1, which means that Hearts are currently 8 points top in the Scottish Premier League. Brendan Rodgers has gone today as well. Martin O'Neill's come in as manager, as an interim manager. And of course, Big Shanks was on the score sheet for Hearts. He's bringing it home. Big Shanks brings the Scottish title home for Hearts. Oh, I'm going to have to get a Hearts shirt, I think, with Shankland on the back. It's going to have to be done. What a man.
I think we should all get one if we win the league.
This is it. We'll all get them. We'll get podcast Shankland shirts. We'll wear them to the FCAs. But it's absolutely mad, yeah. And no side apart from Celtic or Rangers has won the Scottish Premiership since before I was born. That wasn't them. It was Aberdeen in the mid-80s. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Same, and I'm older than you.
I think I was probably born, but I had no interest in football, so
you weren't watching Aberdeen in the 80s, were you ever? What were you doing with yourself?
And whatever happened to that manager from Aberdeen? What did he ever do?
I never heard of him. Never heard of him at all. Never heard of him. I think he did some things, won a couple of trophies.
He went under the radar, didn't he?
I wonder if Ange will go back to Celtic.
I think he will.
Yeah,
I think it's just tailor-made for him. And you know what, with that, again, we've mentioned before, haven't we, about how refreshing it is for the Premier League scene, like the Bournemouth. How refreshing is it now? For not being, I'm a Celtic fan by kind of being a Catholic, really. I prefer Celtic to Rangers and all this stuff. But how refreshing is it to see someone who isn't Rangers on top of the league? Yeah. Fair play to Hearts. I mean, I get a little bit of thing with Hearts. I used to, the very first football top I got was Hearts top when I went away. So I was like, I supported Sunderland and Hearts, and then I've just not bothered with Hearts after that. You know what I mean? But, my dad will, remind us one day when I was 6 when they got beaten in the semi-final of Rangers in the Scottish League Cup, and I cried all my way home, and Sunderland had won as well. You
practically live in Scotland, don't you? So.
Yeah, fair enough. We did build a wall for that reason only. But no, it's good to see it. But I do think with Celtic, then they need to go on. They already need to go on a run where they need to win 5-6 games in a row. I just don't see it. I think we might get a shock with Hearts winning it. I think Hearts will drop off. But it's a fact, I think they might have enough points as it is, like enough points in hand. And this weekend, Rangers and Celtic don't play because they play in the Scottish League Cup semi-final, which they play each other. So Hearts can go 11 points clear on the weekend. It's a lot. It's a big gap already.
It's a big league, wasn't it? I do remember there being a season, and it might have been Aberdeen. I think had a really good start. And
it was last season,
together, and got pulled. And I think there was one a little while back as well where they did and got pulled back in. But that was a Celtic. That was a Celtic machine that could go on a run. They just had a poor start, I think. But I'm not too sure about the current side they've got at the moment, whether they're capable of doing that. So interesting times, that is for sure. And Rafa Benitez has been appointed head coach of Greek side Panathinaikos. Here we go, doing the whole of Europe. We've got the whole of Europe covered, don't you worry. But what a wonderful evening of football, and it's been great to have Ant and Heather with me tonight talking Premier League stuff. And so if you want more of these wonderful people, and you want more of Ant in your life, which you should do, where can you go and get some more of that?
Just on Cloud9, to be fair. Just follow us on there. I'm on Ant_Watson at Twitter and Blue Sky. I've had quite a lot of new followers this week. I don't know why, but a lot of people have been starting to follow us. So yeah, thank you for that, whomever you are. But yeah, you can find us on them, and obviously, I think I'm on Thursday. I don't know yet. No, because I'm filming with you tomorrow, aren't I? So I won't be on Thursday.
We are indeed. We do. We have a special for members episode that will be going up of a get to know Ant. So if you do want to get to know Ant, you need to become a member to watch it when we haven't filmed it yet. So you can't watch it yet.
And get your new emojis. And get them emojis in.
Get your emojis. Get your emojis in. And of course, Heather, where can everybody find you and your wonderful stuff?
I'm on Heather73 on X, Insta, and TikTok.
Go and check Heather out and on all the stuff that she's up to. And Graham says it's the effect of that FCA video, Ant, which is always saved in my favourites for when it's required. Graham.
To be fair to Graham as well, he asked for it, so we have to reward our members, haven't we, with that wonderful video. It's coming up again, isn't it? So we might have it again.
It's not long, actually. It's less than 3.5 weeks or so. I think it's not too bad. I've managed to work my way up there now. I had a work issue that I've managed to get all my way around now, so I can come, which is lovely.
It must be a long old trip for you, that like all the way up the Leeds.
It's a massively long trip. I did it for work about a month ago, and it took me all weekend to recover, and that was just work. So it was a long old haul. The frustrating thing was the thing I've got at work is actually in Edinburgh this year. So I was like, I can't make that work. Last year it was in bloody Leeds, of all places. I was like, if that was the case, I would have not had to take any holiday, and I'd have had my travel and my accommodation paid for my work and just rocked up to the FCAs afterwards. It's a lot here. It's a long jaunt. Me and the trains are going to be spending a lot of time together.
I can't wait. It's only an hour away.
It's easier for you this year. That is for sure. David says, thank you. Been another Christmas cracker of a show. Podstars be back when United lose the weekend. Dude, outrageous. Just if you need to find where we are, just look up in the table. Just have a little look up. But thank you to everybody in the chat. Of course, couldn't do it without you. You make the show fantastic with all your chats and comments, and we enjoy having you on there. Of course, where can you find more of our stuff? Well, everywhere usually. On a Monday is the Absolutely Non-League show. Apologies, yes, it wasn't on yesterday. We had to cancel, but things sometimes get in the way. Personal lives and everything take precedence, so we apologise for that. But Shah does a tremendous job, to be honest, in putting 2 shows on for you every week. So she needs to take one off. That's not a problem at all. And she'll be back hopefully on Thursday with you guys talking absolutely lower league. But usually on a Monday is the Absolutely Non-League show with NL Full Time on a Monday, covering National League North and South. On the Tuesday, it's the Absolutely Premier League show, of course, talking everything in the Premier League. We'll be back next Tuesday at 8:30. On Wednesday, tomorrow, is actually international football. It's the Lionesses have been playing, I think, Australia tonight. They play Brazil at the weekend, and they're also talking UEFA Nations League and many other things. Freya's got many topics for you, don't you worry. She'll be there. Paul will be there, and I'm not sure who else, but definitely those two will be there, plus some other people. And on Thursday, it is the Rowdy Rabble and the Absolutely Lower League shows, talking Championship, League One, and League Two with Shah. You can be a member. That's where you can watch and find out all about Ant. Check that out. That's on the YouTube description, probably somewhere below in the screen or whatever. You can find out all about that. Once we've recorded it, we will tell you when that's going to be available to watch. And yes, 8:30 every day. every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's enough for now. I don't think we've got any more in us for now. But you can find us on Twitter, Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube and Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast, TikTok, Absolute Football Pod, Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _ Blue Sky, Absolute Football, and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. So there you go. There you go, indeed. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been a wonderful week. Wins for everybody. Top 6 for everybody. Ciao for now. Catch you later.